On Tuesday, Dominion Voting Systems and Fox News reached a very surprise settlement for a total of $787.5 million. This is right before they were scheduled to begin their court battle. So, wait, that was, again, a bit of a surprise for all of us who were hoping that, again, this would go to trial, there would be a jury, and there would be deliberations, people that would have to testify, Fox News hosts, executives, etc., and basically, outline the role they had in lying to the American people. But that did not happen. It did not happen. So they ended up getting, Dominion did half of what they were seeking in damages after these Fox News hosts had spread nonstop conspiracy theories about voting machines on behalf of Donald Trump, and of course, in order to keep their audience. Remember, they were afraid that their audience was going to go to Newsmax, and that would deprive them of their viewership, which would impact their ability to negotiate for higher carriage fees. I'll explain how that factors in. So, look, I'm actually not happy with this. No trial, no nothing like that. And no, I don't think that's real accountability. So this also tells me, though, that Fox News was desperately wanting to avoid any sort of actual accountability. They didn't put out an apology. They weren't forced to put out an apology. They weren't forced to go through and said that everything we were saying was lies. They said in their statement that they had to acknowledge that Dominion had claimed that they had lied. And they acknowledge Dominion's claims, but didn't actually have to go and apologize and say, we did all of this wrong. We lied to the American people, and we will take ownership of it. They don't have to do any of that. And so, I know you might be saying, but Jeff, isn't $787 million a lot of money? Isn't that going to really hurt Fox News? No, it's the cost of doing business. Look, let me get to some statements here. This is from Media Matters News Director John Whitehouse, who also had a critical take. Here's what he pointed out. For context, Fox News made roughly $1.9 billion from cable subscriber fees alone in 2022. So, yeah, it'll make a dent in this year's revenue. Ooh. Wow. Now, subscriber fees are, of course, fees that are borne by everyone who happens to have Fox News on their cable system. Okay? So if they don't watch it, they still end up paying for it. And so, in a way, if you have cable, you are subsidizing Fox News, and you are subsidizing Dominion in turn. So, look, most of the, again, cable fees are from people who do not even watch Fox News. And so they're going to use that money in order to pay the settlement. And then what's Fox News going to do? They're going to move on business. As usual. In fact, the president of Media Matters, Angelo Caruso, tweeted this, made some very good points. He said, Fox's statement said that they acknowledged certain statements that they made about Dominion were not accurate, but the court found that not a single thing Fox said about Dominion was accurate. And that's the other thing, too. They straight up lied and knowingly defamed Dominion. Based on other things, he says, here's my warning. Fox is about to burn brighter and hotter. And that's, again, not a good thing. To use a metaphor, Caruso continues, Fox didn't just get away with murder. They basically got a license to kill. So I'll get to more of Caruso's thread, which I think, again, is very, very good. Knowing what's at stake, why did Dominion Voting Systems, again, who had a good case, who had an excellent case, they were clearly defamed, they could have went and got all of the 1.6 billion. Why didn't they? Well, it turns out money, of course. You see, this case, as much as we like to think that, this would have had a huge impact on Fox, maybe they would have been forced to tell the truth and apologize and, all that stuff. Remember, they're a corporation and they're not there to protect democracy. And by the way, that wouldn't have guaranteed, if they had went to trial, that they would have to, that Fox News would have to, come out and admit to everybody, all their viewers, that they had been lying to them the whole time. They didn't want to take that chance. So they decided to settle. So now I have information here about why I think this particular settlement was more about money than anything else. Dominion is owned by Staple Street Capital. That is a small private equity firm. Staple Street has fewer than 50 employees and claims $900 million of assets under management, which is a modest amount in the industry. Founded in 2009 by a person's name that I cannot pronounce, and Stephen Owens, who had previously worked at Carlyle Group and Cerberus Capital Management. Yeah. Okay. Now, the size of the settlement basically represents a windfall on Staple Street's investment in Dominion Voting Systems. So now the two founders, look, they haven't made any political donations. They haven't, they don't really have any sort of, from what I can tell, public political leanings. So basically, they're strictly businessmen. Nothing wrong with that. So at the end of the day, though, they're like, hey, look, we're businessmen. We're about business. And this windfall, we got offered a last minute settlement. Take it. And again, Fox News was very desperate to do so because they knew that if they did go to trial, they would have been absolutely wrecked. And look, until a few days ago, Fox News didn't want to settle, or at least had said nothing about settling. And then a couple of days ago, there was news reports saying, well, Fox News, actually, they are looking at settling because of all the damning information that had been coming out. So from a business perspective, this makes all the sense in the world. From a trying to protect democracy and honesty in media, this sucks. And I'll be honest. So now, Dominion, let's just say the controlling stake in Dominion cost $38.3 million in 2018, according to a filing. Dominion's expected revenues in 2022 would have been $98 million, according to the filing. So this $787.5 million, oh, it's a huge, gigantic windfall for the investors. For anyone who has stock in Dominion, well, they're going to make out pretty well. Now, the owners of Staple Street, along with John Poulos, who is Dominion's chief executive and has a 12% stake in the firm, they're going to reap a lot of money. They're going to be very, very happy with this. So it's essentially a win for both of them. Dominion wins, they get their money, huge financial windfall. Fox News also wins. They get to settle for half the amount that they were sued for, and then put out some weak, half-ass, apology, whatever. They're going to get back to business as usual. Okay, maybe they'll be a little bit more careful in making sure not to go after a specific company, but they're going to go and put out the same kind of nonsense conspiracy theories. I mean, that's just what I see happening. Now, in its discovery efforts, by the way, Fox did unearth a message from a former Staple Street employee to a current executive that noted, quote, would be pretty unreal if you guys like 20 times your Dominion investment with these lawsuits. I mean, and they did. And by the way, it's not that the money wasn't owed. Oh, no. This was, again, a clear case of defamation. Fox clearly went after this company with malice. And the company, by the way, does deserve their compensation. And I'm not saying that they don't. But at the end of the day, my issue is this is not going to change Fox News. Yes, is it a measure of accountability to Dominion, who was a harmed party in this? Absolutely. They were clearly wronged, but it's not any accountability to journalism. It's not any accountability to media. And so I don't think it's going to change Fox News at all. In fact, following this, Fox put out a statement saying, quote, there's nothing more newsworthy than covering the president of the United States and his lawyers making allegations of voter fraud. Freedom of the press is foundational to our democracy and must be protected. In addition to the damages claims being outrageous, unsupported, and not rooted in sound financial analysis. So they're already, again, saying the same thing after having to settle. So like, oh yeah, it was all BS. I mean, not rooted at all in sound financial analysis or, these claims are outrageous. Can't believe it. And they're also getting ready for the eventual Smartmatic suit, which is, again, even more money. But the point of saying this is that it's the same defense they used with Dominion, showing you that they learned absolutely nothing. There is no accountability at its core. So let's go back to Carusone, who, again, summed this up. He said that Fox News is going to take this license to lie, the license to kill, they just purchased, and pivot to rebuilding audience bond. What does that mean? It means conspiracy theories. It means the same old stuff, just in a more coded way. In fact, he said, Fox will feed viewers the rarest of meat. Oh, I have to.
Tighten up my meat. I like my meat tight.
Work audiences into a frenzy and leverage that for political power. And this is the most important part, for cable carriage increases. So, look, this is a significant sum of money. And what Smartmatic is suing Fox News for on these same grounds, a significant amount of money. So what's Fox News going to do? They're going to want more carriage fees. Yes. Look, a lot of us were hoping, saying, hey, maybe this will force these providers to stop paying Fox News for the carriage fees that they make a lot of their revenue from. But I don't see that being the case. Even though all of the, information that has come out from, this lawsuit showing, again, that Fox News lies constantly to their audience and they do it for money, it hasn't impacted their ratings whatsoever. Their ratings are fine. Their audience says, no, you understand. We like it when you lie to us. Please keep doing so. That's dangerous. And so there's a lot of strength, unfortunately, in Fox News' ratings. That means that, these companies, these carriers might actually bend to that demand from Fox News to raise their carriage. Since they went through this entire thing and were able to settle with no long-term, at least no short-term, I don't know if there will be long-term impacts to their business. But they were able to get through this just fine. And that's going to signal to the carriers, we can keep running this. We can keep Fox News on the air. Not a problem. And Fox News will say, well, look, we went through all this, we settled it. Now we would like more carrier fees. Pay us more. Because obviously there's a base here of support that's never going to go away, no matter what happens. No matter what happens. Looking at it from a business perspective, why wouldn't these companies pay to keep Fox News, to carry them? Again, the only thing that's going to happen to Fox News, from what I can see, is that they will be slightly more careful to avoid getting themselves into defamation lawsuits in the future, obviously. But they're still going to find ways to promote conspiracy theories and do the same kind of segments they've been doing all along. In fact, as Peter Moss writes in The Intercept, and I think this is on point, he noted that the network, through this settlement, has escaped the legal, moral, and financial punishment of a judicial verdict. And then adds this: we probably shouldn't be surprised by this outcome. One terrible limb of American capitalism was always unlikely to save us from another terrible limb.